ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वापदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च। श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामी इति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नामिने गौरकृषे नमः। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिका कान्ता राधा कान्ता नमोऽस्तुते। तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. Hearty welcome to all the devotees for today's Satsang program. So, as we just started in the last 2 weeks, we discussed about activities of a person in various modes. We started with activities of a person in the mode of ignorance. Then in the last class, we briefly discussed about activity of a person in the mode of passion. Today we will try to discuss about the activities of a person in the mode of goodness and try to compare all the three people. So in order to compare how the thought process of these three different people is different, I kind of compiled a small document. Hopefully it was shared with all of you in the group, whoever in the group must have got. Later on we will see through some of the shlokas from Bhagavad Gita, try to understand what kind of thinking these people will have, how they approach with respect to different activities, different ideas and different assumptions, etc. So, in the beginning, we were discussing that how a person being controlled by mode of ignorance without understanding what is the purpose of life, this person performs activities only for the sake of filling the belly, filling his own belly and the belly of his family members. That is what he thinks life is meant for. There is nothing more than that for him. Bhagavatam says that Gruheshu Kuda Dharmeshu Dukkha Tantreshu Atandrita Kurvan Dukkha Pratikaram Sukhavan Manyate Gruhi. This Gruhi, this householder who is in the mode of ignorance, Gruheshu Kuta Dharmeshu. He takes shelter of cheating dharma. Kuta dharma means cheating dharma. Somehow or other, let me cheat others, let me destroy others, let me steal others. Whatever it is, purpose of life is to enjoy. He takes shelter of Kuta dharmas. All cheating means dukkha tantreshu adantrita. At the cost of others' misery, he tries to live. He tries to progress in his life. Kurvan dukkha pratikaram sukam manyate grihi. He thinks that mitigating the misery or counteracting misery is happiness. He does not know what is the real happiness. What he knows is all this much only. Dukkha pratikaram sukam manyate. Whatever dukkha is there in the family, mitigating that dukkha is the happiness. He never tries to understand what the real happiness is all about. This is the thought process of this person. And then says that Arthair Apaditer Gurvya Himsaya Etas Tataschayan Pushnanti Esham Poshena Sheshabuk Yati Adaswayam. Arthair Apaditer Gurvya Himsa Etas Tataschatan. In order to earn wealth, he will take the shelter of Himsa. That is what he knows. He does not know anything else. Somehow or other cheat others, or destroy others, or rob others, and get money for the purpose of filling his own belly. Pushnati, for the maintenance of himself and for the maintenance of the family members. But though this person is working hard in order to earn wealth, to get wealth for the satisfaction of himself and family members, Bhagavan says that Sheshabuk, he only gets to eat the remnants. He is creating violence to others, he is creating distress to others, cheating them, earning wealth from them, but the family members, they will eat it away and he will be given only remnants. At the end, Yati Adaswayam, he alone goes to Naraka and goes to hellish punishment. Because it is he who performed all the sinful activities for the sake of family members. They enjoy and give him the remnants and he will go to hell for the sins he had committed in order to earn wealth. So, in that way. And he will be treated like when he becomes old, when he does not earn anymore, he will be treated like a Gruhapala, household dog. He will be given only the leftover foodstuffs which is not meant for eating. So like that, this person leads the life and eventually goes to hell and enjoys, we cannot say enjoys, experiences the results of his sinful activities. Evam kutumba vibrana mudaram para evava. In order to maintain the family, in order to fill the belly, he had performed so many sinful activities. Vistrujyaye ubayam pretya. Giving up the sinful activities, giving up the family, he alone goes to Yamaloka. He does not go with the family members. Bhunte tat phalam idrisham. He eats up or he experiences the results of those sinful activities. And this person, having gone through unlimited punishments in the hell, then he will go through different species. Whatever species with which or whom he cheated or he exploited, he has to go through all the species, one after the other, one after the other, one after the other. It is said that Adastan Naralokasya Yavatir Yata Nadaya Kramasha Samanukramya Punar Atra Vrajit Ji. While going through all the species, for example, this person has exploited a cow, he has to take birth as a cow. This person has exploited a bull, he has to go through the species of bull. In a sense, in any way, exploiting the bull or cow, or exploiting dog, exploiting ant, cat, any species. He has to go through all the species. By going through, if he, by good fortune, if he realizes, let me not do such kind of activities once again, let me not act foolishly, then he will progress from mode of ignorance to mode of passion. He will become determined not to perform such kind of sinful activities foolishly. Then, taking the shelter of the semen of father, enters into the womb of the mother. Then the child grows within the womb of the mother, month after month, day after day, week after week, month after month. When the child grows 7 months, during the 7th month, the child develops consciousness. He will remember what all he did for the last 100 lives. During the 7th month of the pregnancy of the mother, the child entered the womb. Every child remembers what he has done for the last 100 lives. Having remembered all those life's activities, this child goes through kind of repentance by good fortune. Then makes a plan that this time I will not make that kind of mistakes. Let me correct myself, let me live a good life. So with that thought process, he will raise his consciousness from mode of ignorance to mode of passion. Eventually, after 9 months are over, during the 10th month, being pushed by the winds of childbirth, the child comes out. As soon as the child comes out of the womb, he forgets what he had done the past 100 lifetimes. He does not know. So forgetting who he is, what he is all about, he keeps crying. And the mother and elderly women in the family and others, they take care of the child without understanding what the child wants. The child is feeling stomach pain, he only knows crying. They think he is feeling hungry. The mother gives milk, but his pain does not subside. If child is feeling hungry, they think that he is feeling stomach pain. They will give some bitter juice as a medicine, bitter medicine. He will cry again. He will be put into a cradle which is not clean. He can't even scratch because his tender body is being bitten by mosquitoes and other kinds of flies, etc. So many things. Even if a fly just stands on the skin and the hand or anywhere, the skin is so tender, he feels so much pain. For example, even we also, whenever some skin is cut, anything touches to that, how much pain we feel. The children are like that. The small kids within 1 year, they are like that. Anything touches their skin, they feel a kind of itching or something like that. He can't even scratch. He can't even move the hand aside. He can't even turn around the legs. He can't even move this side. He can't even stand up, can't even sit. He continues to cry for 1 whole year. Afterwards, when he starts walking, when he starts talking, he develops so many desires. He keeps asking, Mama ye chahiye, Papa ye chahiye. Of course, sometimes the parents might give, sometimes the parents may not give. Whenever the parents don't give, he goes through suffering. My desires are not fulfilled. Like that, the life goes from 1 year to 5 years. He has so many desires, but parents, sometimes they respond to it, sometimes they don't respond. Sometimes he will get good beating also. So, like that, then 5 years passes away. Then he goes to school. Then with friends, there is always competition. I say this, you say this, like that there is always competition. I say right, like that there is always competition. Then he comes to teenage, then the life begins. Bhagavatam very clearly says that starting from the teenage, the attraction to the opposite sex begins. The life goes in that only, because this person is already in the mode of passion. The main attraction for the passionate person is 2 things. The woman, ambitions. Nothing more than that. Nothing matters for his life. Only these 2 things. So, it is said that Bhutair Panchabir Arabde Deha Dehi Abhusaki Aham Mameti Adat Graha Karoti Kumatir Madir. For him, only two things are important: me and those give happiness to me. I am important for me, and those who give happiness to me are important to me. No one else, I don't care. No one else matter to me. Only two things, two people. Aham maneti. So with that thought process, tadartam kurute karma, for the satisfaction of oneself, for the satisfaction of those who are giving him happiness, especially the opposite sex, he performs all the activities. No one matters for him. No one is a part of his life. Rest all the world is meant for the happiness of mine and my counterpart. That's all. That is the mentality of this person in the mode of passion. Yadi asatpir pati pumsham, yadi ataspir pati pumsha, shishnodara krutodayam, astito ramate jantus, tamo vishanti purvat. His whole life's ambition is only fulfill the demands of Shishna and Udara, the genital and the belly. That's all. Nothing else matters for him. The whole life goes in this one. And in this, there is always competition. The way I enjoy, no one should enjoy it. Always want to be at the topmost position, the topmost sense gratifier. This is the ambition. For that, he is ready to do anything. And he always accompanies with such kind of like-minded friends. As a result of that, he will be bereft of all the good qualities. It is mentioned that Satyam Saucham Daya Maunam Buddhi Shrir Hir Yashakshama Samodama Bhavascheti Yati Sangat Yati Samshayam. By the association of equal-minded friends, he will lose all these good qualities. Good qualities such as truthfulness, cleanliness, kindness, gravity of thought, intelligence, beauty, modesty, fame, and compassion, mind control, sense control, auspiciousness, good fortune. All these wonderful qualities will be taken away from this person. Na tatasya bhaven moho bandhas chanya prasangata yoshi sangha yata pumsho yata tasavi sangata. What is the reason he leaves? He will become bereft of all these wonderful auspicious qualities. Only two reasons. One is yoshi sangha. This person always remains in the association of opposite sex. Since Bhagavatam is talking about the man, it says that yoshi sangha, the association of women. And he is also in the association of Tat Sangi Sangata, those men who are fond of the association of women. He only have two friends in this world. One is the woman, the other one is those men who are fond of women. Because of these two associations, he will be bereft of all good qualities. And then Bhagavatam, Lord Kapila says that even a greatly intelligent person like Lord Brahma also will be bewildered by attractive charms of opposite sex. Even Brahma followed after his own creation, Vagdevi. Then what to speak of ordinary living entities? But what is the way out? Except those people who completely take shelter of Lord Vishnu or Lord Rama or Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Pura Manse, Manasa, Vacha, Karmana. In all respect, those who take shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, only they can be saved from the attractive charms of opposite sex. Otherwise, everyone in this world will be attracted to the charms of opposite sex. Tas srishta srishta srishteshu kon vakantita deepuman. Who will be so determined person? Whether Brahma's creation, Brahma's children or Brahma's grandchildren and their children, no one in this world can be completely determined person. Rishim Narayana Mrute, except those devotees who take shelter of Lord Narayana. Yoshit Maya, who will not be attracted to the charming beauty of my Maya in the form of woman. Like that Lord Kapila says. So then, if at all a person in the mode of passion want to come out of this bewilderment, want to come out of this bondage, he need to upgrade himself from the mode of passion to mode of goodness. And this person who dedicated his life only Shishnodara Parayana for the purpose of fulfilling the demands of the Shishna and Udara, the genital and belly, should see the association of women as path to hell. Kindly do not make mistake. I am not talking about the women per se in total. Considering women to the object of enjoyment, with that context, it is mentioned in the Bhagavatam. If one is associating with women only an object of enjoyment, if at all he want to progress from mode of passion to mode of goodness, good intelligence, he should see the woman as path to Naraka Dwaram, path to hell. And then he should proceed in the life. Then he can progress from mode of passion to mode of goodness. Otherwise, this person with a complete attachment to women leads the entire life. At the end of life, obviously will think of his wife while dying. Because of that, Yamyam vapi smarandavam tajati ante kalevaram tam evaiti kaunteya sada tadbhava bhavita. Whatever we think of throughout our life, that is what we think at the time of death. That is what we are going to get after death. This person was always thinking about the woman throughout the life. Obviously, at the time of death, he will think of the woman only. In the next life, he will get the form of a woman. That means he will become woman. Having become woman after marriage, previously whoever was his wife, she will think of him, and she will die thinking of him. She will become he. They will again get married. Then this woman think of that man, the newly married, previously who was his wife. She will treat her husband like yem mannate patim moham. Out of illusion, she will think of him as her husband. Man mayam Rushabhayam, who is not different from my Maya. What Kapila is saying. Stritvam, Stri Sangata Prapto. Stritvam, Stri Sangata Prapto. Because he was so much attached to his wife, after death, he will get the form of a woman. Stritvam, Stri Sangata Prapto. Because he was so much attached to a woman throughout his life, at the end of the death, he will get human body certainly, without fail. Then after marriage, she will consider her husband as Vitta, Apta, Gruha, Pradam. Previously, she was his wife. The wife was giving him happiness. Now she became he, and he became her husband. And she will treat him as Vitta Pradam, the giver of the wealth. Apta Pradam, giver of the children. Gruha Pradam, giver of the home. She will consider her husband the fulfiller of all her demands. He will fulfill my desire in terms of money, desires in terms of children, desires in terms of home. So like that, she will consider. But if she is supposed to raise from mode of passion to mode of goodness, she should treat the husband who is giving her the wealth, the home, the children as Narakadwara. Otherwise, she will also go to Naraka after death. Just like previously was so much attached to she, just as a result of that he went to Naraka. If a woman also thinks of a man simply as the giver of wealth, giver of children, giver of home, obviously will be on the path of Naraka. Anyone remember here what were the mantras chanted during the time of marriage? So many ceremonies happened in the marriage. Anyone remember? Okay, that is requesting auspiciousness for the entire life. So there is one mantra at the time of tying the knot, that Mangala Sutra. So anyone remember what is that mantra? All of you elders must be remembering. Please. No? Huh? There are Swasti mantras, they are invoking auspiciousness. At the time of marriage, both the wife and husband takes a vow. There are multiple vows. In the marriage, there are multiple sequences. The first one is in Telugu we call something else, but I am not getting that name. What do you call this? The mixture of gur, jeera and few other auspicious items. They offer to each other. It is, this particular ceremony signifies that just like the gur mixes with jeera very tightly, I will be with you in all respects. And then there is tying the knot. Mangalyam tantu nanena navajivana hetuna kante baddhana shubhage tvam jiva sharadam shatam. While tying the knot, the husband says that please wear this auspicious thread on your neck. This will bring me auspiciousness in my life and kindly stay with me for 100 years. Tvam jiva sharadam shatam. Let us live together for 100 full years. The tie signifies living together for 100 full years. And then there is Saptapadi. Both the husband take the wife around the fire sacrifice. The Saptapadi indicates that in my journey in this world, may you follow me. Never make me deviate from the righteous path, and you always follow me. Saptapadi, during Saptapadi they take a vow that in my life I have to accomplish the 4 Purusharthas: Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. In order to fulfill the responsibility of these 4 Purusharthas, may you assist me in all respects. As long as you assist me, I will take the responsibility of you. Let us not stay away. So for this Saptapadi, just before Saptapadi there is something called as Pani Grahanam. The husband takes the right hand of the wife, keeping the 5 fingers close together. So something like that. That indicates that in all respects you should surrender unto me. In all respects I will protect you. So by taking that vow, both should help each other in order to complete their duties in this material world, and by the end of the life they should be ready on their journey back to Godhead. They have only promised to stay for 100 years together, not 7 lifetimes or not 100 lifetimes. They take the vow during the marriage that this should be our last life in this material world. Praying to Lord Vishnu, requesting Lord Vishnu, may you help us in order to accomplish our goal of life. These are all Vedic mantras chanted in the marriage. So next time when you go to marriage, kindly pay attention to the mantras. They are very important. Sorry? So, for a person in the mode of passion, both wife and husband should treat, if they are only interested in fulfilling the superficial demands of the life, they should treat each other as a source to help. But if they are actually helping each other, fulfilling their actual responsibilities, they should take care of each other very nicely, more than themselves. That is the purpose of life, purpose of marriage life, grahasthashram. So, but whatever it is, here it is said that having understood the life means to progress from mode of passion to mode of goodness, this person. And then, because the reason is that the biggest problem for the human society is we all generally think that this is the only life. We have been born, we have to enjoy as much as possible. There is no second life. I don't know life is there or not. Who guarantees? Who knows? Can you give me guarantee? Like that they question. Because they are in this ideology that this is the only life. There is nothing beyond this. They think of doing everything possible in this life only. But because of this reason they never hear the scriptures. If by good fortune they come in the association of some devotees or some people who are thorough with the Vedic literature, then they will understand that the birth and death only belong to the body. Atma is eternal. One should not be attached to the happiness of the body. One should look for the happiness of the soul. One should look for the needs of the soul, not for the needs of the body. When that thought enters into the mind of the devotee, that person, he slowly rises from mode of passion to mode of goodness. So further, he should have this basic knowledge. Birth means the gross body and subtle body coming together. Death means the gross body and subtle body separating together. But the subtle body and Atma live for long. They move from one species to other species. At the time of liberation, the Atma, even giving up the subtle body, goes back to the spiritual world. That understanding when they get, then they will rise from mode of passion to mode of goodness. How they can get this understanding? Tasman na karya tantrasa, na karpanyam, na sambrama, buddhva jiva gatim dhiro, mukha sangha chare diha, mukta sangha chare diha. Understanding that there is no real birth and there is no real death for the soul. Soul is eternal. And one should not be horrified by looking at the death that is happening around. Because every day in day out we see somebody or others dying in front of us. Someone may be our relative, someone may be known to us, someone may not be known to us. Somebody may be dying. One should not be horrified with that. Because death is not real. Birth is not real. Atma is eternal. And na sambrama. One should not be so eager to enjoy the world. As long as one is living in this world, one should not be so eager to enjoy the world. This one should cultivate. One's life is not meant for material enjoyment. And then, buddhva jiva gatim dhiro. Understanding the real goal of life. The real goal of life is not just to enjoy sense gratification. Mukta sanghas charedya. Being detached from this world, one should move around in this world. One should stay in this world, but with detachment. Live with detachment. How can one develop detachment? How can one come to this consciousness? Samyak darshanaya buddhya yoga vairagya yuktaya maya virachite loke charen nasta kalevaram. Samyak darshanaya, seeing with proper understanding. Seeing this world with proper understanding of what the world is all about. And taking shelter of jnana. Developing good intelligence. Taking shelter of Ashtanga yoga. Taking shelter of detachment. One can maintain this understanding, one can maintain this detachment, and one can progress from mode of passion to mode of goodness. The first thing a person does, having come to mode of goodness, is he will listen to Vedic literature. This person will listen to Vedas, Ramayana, Mahabharata, such kind of books. So, on a superficial ground, the Vedic literatures, the Vedas, Ramayana, Mahabharata or Puranas, generally they promote dharma. They say that you need to practice dharma. You need to practice the rules and regulations of the Vedic literature. For what? By practicing dharma, one will get artha. That means, practicing dharma means performing one's own duties in a moral way, honorable way, and also performing Vedic rituals as per the occasion. Whenever the occasion arises, performing all the Vedic rituals. As a result of that, one will get artha. The person in the mode of ignorance for the sake of artha, he was killing others, cheating others, robbing others. Person in the mode of passion for the sake of artha, he is treating others as a competitor. And person in the mode of goodness, he is nothing to do with others. He is only interested in following the duties in a honorable way, in a moral way. Then he will get wealth. With that wealth, he can fulfill all his desires in a dharmic, authorized way. But here there is a problem. The enjoyment of this person, according to Srimad Bhagavatam, it is like a householder taking care of a cow. After giving birth to a calf, the householder takes the cow to the grazing from morning to evening. When the cow comes back in the evening, it will give some milk. Okay? He enjoys the milk in the form of milk itself, in the form of curd, in the form of butter, buttermilk, ghee, etc. etc. So he understood that if I take the cow for grazing from morning to evening, I get milk in the evening. But from the milk, I get all the milk products. So this is a good thing. Tomorrow also I will take the cow for the grazing. Tomorrow also cow gives the milk. Day after tomorrow also I will take the cow for grazing. Day after tomorrow also cow gives the milk. Like that, let me happy for the rest of eternity. He will become attached to the happiness that he derives by the performance of these activities. Dharmic activities. This person is called as Sakama Karmi. He is following all the rules or regulations of the Vedic literature, but to fulfill his immediate desires. And he understands that if I perform this ritual, I will get prosperity. If I perform this ritual, if I practice this vow, if I go to this holy place, if I take bath in this holy river, I will perform punya, I will get returns. Like that he keeps performing, he gets and enjoys, again performs, enjoys, again performs, enjoys. By the way, at the end of the life, he might go to Sarga or Pitruloka. He will enjoy there, again come back, again perform, again go there, again enjoy there, again come back. If somebody asks, he will say that this life is wonderful. I don't want anything more than this. Let me enjoy for the rest of eternity like this. But unfortunately, neither the happiness of Bhuloka, nor the happiness of Pitruloka, nor the happiness of Sargaloka does not stay for the rest of eternity. After some time, something called as Pralaya will come. At the time of Pralaya, the Bhuloka, Bhurloka, Sargaloka, all the lokas will be destroyed. The enjoyment is obstructed. This is not a permanent enjoyment. But the Sakama Karmi is so attracted, so bewildered by this Karmakanda rituals. He continues to perform activities life after life, life after life, life after life. He is happy in his own world because he is leading a moral life. He is getting good wealth in return and living a peaceful life and enjoying. What else one want? If life is going on peacefully, what else one want? This person becomes attracted to this kind of peaceful life and continues to perform such kind of activities again and again. Nunam daivena vida ye chachuta katha sudam hitva shrunvanti asat gatay purisham eva vidbujam. The one mistake with this person is he understands that this life is so wonderful, what else I need? Somehow or other, if some devotee invites him for a satsang, my dear sir, we are having a satsang every Tuesday evening, please come for satsang. He says, no, not required. I am happy. मुझे सत्संग से नहीं चलता है, मुझे जरूरत नहीं. Whatever my parents told me, I am doing everything. I am happy, quite happy. By doing this, I will go to Swargaloka and I will be more happy. Again I come back, I perform again the same rituals, I will be happy. Again I go to Swargaloka, I will be happy. I don't have to come to this satsang, that satsang. I don't want all these things. Kitva Shrunvanti asat gater Achyuta Katha Sudam Kitva. He will give up the nectar of Krishna Katha, but he is only interested in Asat Gata. He is only interested in Karmakanda rituals. He only hears from those Veda Panditas. If you perform this ritual, you will get this benefit. If you perform this ritual, you will get this benefit. They arrange elaborate arrangements, perform big rituals, spending a lot of money. Because anyway they are going to get returns 10 times more than that. So they are eager to perform all these rituals. This person is only interested in performing these so-called rituals. He remains as a Sakama Karmi. But if by good fortune, these people understand that more than Dharma, Artha, Kama, there is a fourth Purushartha, something called as Moksha. This is, the previous one is the lower category of Sattva-guna. Little elevated person will understand that the purpose of life is to aim for moksha. Going to Swarga, coming back, going to Swarga, coming back, kitna baar karenge aisa. So, enough is enough, both ho gaya. Now let me try for moksha. And understanding the purpose of life is to attain moksha, this person takes the shelter of Nishkama Karma. Nishkama Karma means this person performs all the Vedic rituals, but he offers all the results for the benefit of society. Not for the benefit of himself or his own family. He gives charities, so many charities, whatever. Because he is leading a religious life, he will have good amount of prosperity, he will do a lot of charities, he will perform all the auspicious activities, etc., etc., etc. His life goes in leading a life of selflessness. And eventually, as a result of leading a life of selflessness, he will develop wisdom. He becomes qualified to practice jnana. Then by taking shelter of jnana and Ashtanga Yoga, he wanted to attain moksha. Unfortunately, this person also does not take shelter of Supreme Lord. He does not take shelter of devotional service. This person, as a result of performing all the charitable activities, leading a life of selflessness, this person ready to become pauper for the sake of others' welfare. He gives up everything that he wants, not able to see others' misery. And he himself leads a life of full of austerities. As a result of that, he will be promoted to upper planetary systems. Anyway, he is not interested in happiness, so he will not go to Swarga. Even though Swarga is offered, he will not go to Swarga. Thus, he will be promoted to Maharloka, Janaloka, Tapaloka, Satyaloka. Even after going to Brahmaloka also, since he has not taken bhakti wholeheartedly, he will come back. He will not attain moksha. Even though somehow or other he heard that I need to lead a life of selflessness in order to attain moksha, but he will never attain moksha because he has not taken shelter of bhakti. He has not taken shelter of Bhagavan. He simply had taken shelter of the society in general. Since he had given all his hard-earned wealth, all his possessions in the service of society, the material nature will avoid result in the form of elevation to upper planetary systems. He will go all the way up to Brahmaloka, but eventually, in the next creation, he will again come back and take birth among such kind of like-minded people and lead a life of selflessness and austerity, etc., etc. Or sometimes they may be attracted to Swarga enjoyment, etc., etc. This person also will continue in the material world. This person is called as Nishkama Karmi. But the best Saptaguni person is that person who leads the mentality of a Nishkama Karmi, offers all the results in the service of the Supreme Lord. This person will add Lord in his life. All the other people till now, no one had the Supreme Lord in their life. Whether they, their family, or themselves, or the society in general is their main focus till now. But only this person will have the Supreme Lord in his life. Whatever he does, according to his own inclination, according to his varna and ashrama, all the results he offers to service of the Supreme Lord as a householder, as a grihastha. Eventually, at the right time, he will renounce all the household responsibilities, entering into Vanaprastha or Sannyas order, either physically or virtually, according to the entire circumstances. He will dedicate his 24 hours of a day in the service of the Supreme Lord. Of course, in the practice of Jnana Ashtanga Yoga along with Bhakti, then eventually at a right time this person will be awarded moksha. Because this person had taken shelter of the Supreme Lord while practicing all the activities from the very beginning of his life, the Lord will award moksha. Moksha pradata sarvesham Vishnu reva na samshayam. Lord Shiva speaks to Mother Parvati in Padma Purana. No one other than Lord Vishnu can award moksha for a living entity in this material world. The person might perform all the activities in the worship of all the devatas all the way up to Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, offer all the results in the service of the entire society and other devatas. But this person, even though he may be promoted to Brahmaloka, but he will not attain moksha. Only when a person takes shelter of Lord Vishnu, it is Lord Vishnu offers liberation to any person. Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma na sochati na kamshati samat sarveshu bhuteshu. A person who leads a life like this, as a householder and as a Vanaprastha or Sannyasi, with complete selflessness, offering the results in the service of the Supreme Lord, in the service of the society, etc., etc. At the perfection, at the end of his life, he comes to this platform, Brahmabhuta platform. Prasannatma, he is completely satisfied, there is no remorse in his life. Because he led a life of sacrifice, led a life of selflessness in the service of the Supreme Lord. He will remain as a Prasannatma. Na sochati, na kamshati. He does not lament that I have given everything away in the service of the Lord, in the service of society. Na sochati. He does not want any material possessions. Samas sarveshu bhuteshu. He sees everyone equally. And then, taking the shelter of bhakti very firmly, mat bhaktin labade param. Bhaktya mam abhijanati. Yavan yachasti tatataha. By that bhakti, he will understand the true nature of the absolute truth in full respects. Tato mam tatvato jnatva, having understood me in my actual position, vishate tadantaram, he will attain liberation. This person eventually attain liberation. No other person till now we discussed, no one attains liberation. In the notes, if you see, there are chapter summaries for the 3 chapters, and at the end of the 3 chapters, I have just given a brief title for each person. That person in the mode of ignorance performing all the activities, he is performing vikarma. That means all the sinful activities only. And that person is very much active, but foolishly. He is foolishly active. He performs all the activities for the purpose of filling his own belly, causing distress to others. And a person in the mode of passion also performing vikarma, because he is only attracted to fulfilling the demands of Shishna and Udara. Shishnodara Parayana. So he also performs sinful activities. He is ambitiously active. And person, when he comes to mode of goodness, the initial stage of mode of goodness makes a person attracted to Vedic rituals. This person is performing all the moral and social activities. He is morally and socially active. And little better than the person is culturally active. According to culturally, at least in India, cultural point of view, it is said that Ati Devo Bhava. If somebody comes to our home in need, they should be helped in all respects. So this person in the mode of goodness of middle category will give away everything that he possesses in service of society. He does not keep anything for himself. He is culturally active. But the best person is he who performs Nishkama Karma Yoga, performs all the activities of one's own avarna and ashrama is offering to Supreme Lord. This person is spiritually active. This person really understands the purpose of life is to attain liberation, and he also understands how to attain liberation. The other person might know purpose of life is to attain liberation, but he does not know how to attain liberation. Only this person understands how to attain liberation, and he will attain liberation by the mercy of the Supreme Lord. So this is how we can see different variety of people that we can see in the society in general. The majority of people in the society are all practitioners of karma. They can be in the mode of goodness, they can be in the mode of ignorance, passion, goodness, initial category, sakama karmis, middle category, nishkama karmis. The good category, the best category, nishkama karma yogis. Only nishkama karma yogi attains liberation. All others will not attain liberation. When they will attain liberation? By taking shelter of jnana, yoga and bhakti. Then they will attain liberation. So in Bhagavad Gita, 18th chapter, Lord Krishna says that how one should perform one's duties. Whatever duties we have, how one should perform all our duties. So this is a verse from chapter 18, section number 6. Etani apitu karmani sangam tektva phalam phalani cha kartavyamiti me partha nichitam matam uttamam. Lord Krishna is telling that, my dear Arjuna, this is my opinion. According to me, how a person should perform all one's activities. A person should render all one's responsibilities. First thing is sangam tektva. He should not be attached to the activities. He should never say that I am the doer of this activity. Sangam tektva means the doer of the activity should never say that I am the doer of this activity. If one says that I am the doer of activity, what is the result of that? When I say I am doing this, what I will say next? Sorry? If I am doing this, I am supposed to enjoy the results. I am the doer, the next is I am the enjoyer. Lord says that one should never think that oneself is the doer. Then the concomitant result is I am not the enjoyer. If I am not the doer, why will I enjoy? Then one may say that, then why should I perform the activity? If I am not the doer, if I am not the enjoyer, like the responsibility of the parents is to take care of the children, to give them good samskaras, good culture, good education. Okay? Then, when the children grows, when the children show up good culture of respect and good grades in their education and they are settled nicely, what the parents will say? Because I have taken care of him very nicely, that's why he has become like this. When others are glorifying that particular child, that okay, this person attained gold medal or distinction in the university, then the father says, I have done this, I have done this. The parents, father or mother, they say that I have done this. And they always say to everyone that, my son got gold medal, my son got gold medal. Next 1 year, It is like big festival for them, for the parents. But Lord Krishna says that Sangam Tektva, Phalam Tektva. One should not say that I am the doer. One should not be attached to the results. Then the next question is, why should I do all the things? Lord says that Kartavyanti me partha. Arjuna, one should do it as one's kartavya. One should do it as one's obligation. This is my opinion. This is Lord Krishna's opinion how one should perform all the activities. If one is gross activities. If one is a student, how one should perform students' activities. Anywhere, anything. This is the benchmark according to Lord Krishna how we should perform all our activities. Sangam tektva, phalam tektva, kartavyam me partha. Otherwise, we are bound. When I say I am the doer, I am the enjoyer. By enjoying the results, I am bound. But if at all one does not want to be bound in this material world, one should follow these three principles. Sangam tektva, phalam tektva, kartavyam me partha. It is my duty. Since I am a husband, it is my duty to take care of my wife. Since I am a father, since I am a mother, it is my duty to take care of my children. Since I am a grandfather or a grandparent, grandmother or grandfather, it is my duty to take care of grandchildren. It is like that. It is my responsibility. I am in a so and so position in the company as a manager, CEO or whatever. It is my duty. So I have to take care of the company, I have to take care of the employees in the entire company. As a matter of duty, one should perform all one's duties. Not thinking oneself as the doer, not thinking oneself as the enjoyer. Just as a kartavya. What kind of activities one should perform in one's life? From the point of view of Vedic literature, yajna dana tapat karma natyajyam karyam evatat. Yajna danam tapaschaiva pavanani manishna. Yajna, dana, tapa, these three activities one should perform. Yajna, dana are performed by householder, tapa is performed by householder, vanaprastha and sannyasi. Anyway, one need to perform all these activities. How? With the previous mentality. Sangam tektva, phalam tektva, kartavyam. Kartavyam me partha. Then only they will attain purification of the heart, eventually liberation. One who understands this, they will continue to stay in the mode of goodness and continue to perform activities in the proper mode and eventually attain perfection. So, one or two examples we see how to perform yajna. Abala kamshikir yajno vidyadrishto ya ijjate yashvayam eveti mana samadaya sa satchi. Abala kamshikir yajno vidyadrishto yadiyate yashvayam eveti. For example, all the grosas are here. One of the responsibility of grosas is to perform samskaras in relation to all the children. For example, vivaha samskara is there. It should be performed properly. Because Vivaha Samskara performance involves so many difficulties, who will perform all these things? Let us go to government office, do registration marriage. Or let us go to temple in front of the ladies, let us perform simply. Not like that. Afala Kamshidir, without expecting for results. Vididrishto, following the rules and regulations of the Vedic literature. Yashvayam Evati, since it has to be performed, one should perform it. This is how a person in the mode of goodness thinks. Then how a mode of person, the mode of passion thinks? Abhisandayatu palam dambhartam api chaivayat. Ijjate bharata shreshta tam yajnam vidhi rajasam. A person in the mode of passion will perform all these rituals only for the sake of result. Dambhartam, in order to showcase his own greatness to society. See, I can perform such kind of Vedic rituals. I can perform such kind of samskaras. Who can perform in the entire village, in the entire town, in the entire city? No one can perform like me. Dambhartam, in order to express his own ego. So, and yajnam, so ijjate, namesake he performs. He is not at all interested in the rules and regulations of the yajna. Just to broadcast his own glories he performs. Then what about the person in the mode of ignorance? Vidihinam asrishtanam mantrahinam dakshinam Shraddha virahitam yajnam tamasam parichakshate. Shraddha means he does not have any faith. He does not follow any rules and regulations. He does not distribute prasad. He does not even give proper dakshina to the performer of yajna. So like that, the person in the mode of ignorance performs yajna. And then tapasya. How do they perform tapasya? Person in the mode of goodness. Shraddhaya paraya taptam tapastat trividam nara. Apala kamshiti yukte satvikam parichakshate. Person in the mode of goodness performs tapasya not for results. Since they have to perform tapasya, they will perform. For example, Ekadashi is there. Ekadashi is meant to be fasted. They perform that's all. No expectation of results. Some austerities, whatever austerities the scriptures indicate, they perform only for the sake of performing, not expecting results. Satkara mana pujartam tapo dabbena sevayat. For satkara, for mana, for puja, person in the mode of passion performs all the austerities. For example, taking 41 days mandal diksha. Many people practice all over, especially Andhra Pradesh, so much such kind of things are there. Satkara, mana, pujartam, and also some returns, fulfillment of the desires. Moda grahe narmano yat pidaya kriyate tapa. Moda grahena atmano, causing trouble to oneself. Then parayato tadartam, for causing distress to others, pain to others, destruction of others. Some people practice tapasya, not for themselves also, just for the sake of causing trouble to others, they practice tapasya. This person in the mode of ignorance. And dhana. What kind of dana should be given? Datavyam ityad danam diyate anupakarine. Desha kalecha patrecha taddanam sasisham mrutam. It says that charity should be performed with the conviction that it should be performed. It is the principal duty of a householder to give charity. The wealth is purified by giving charity. So it should be given, it will be given. Aditya Devabha, whoever comes to home seeking some help, they should be given. Not saying I cannot offer you. That is the duty of a householder. So charity should be given with conviction that it should be given, and given to a proper person who cannot repay. And charity should not be offered expecting some returns. And charity should not be given to a person who already has a lot of wealth. Not like that. But for a person, the mode of passion gives charity only expecting something in return or expecting some name and fame. Pratyupakarartham phalam uddishya. Person in the mode of passion will give charity. And person in the mode of ignorance, adesha, akala, apatra, he does not consider about the place, the person's qualification, the time. He gives charity for no reason. Asat kritam avajnatam, he does not have any knowledge that whom to give and whom to charity should be given or whom charity should not be given. That kind of understanding does not have. He simply gives it, hoping that something will get it, but he neither gets anything in return, and that person also not benefited, and this person also not benefited. The charity given by this person will cause harm to that person and cause harm to this person also. Both will be in trouble. Especially I want to add one thing. In the case of mode of passion, this is what happens in our household circles. Sorry to say this, don't find fault with me. Especially any ceremony that happens in our home, all the relatives will come, they give some gift. Whether it is maybe in terms of wealth, in terms of some clothes, or in terms of some article or something like that. They always have something in mind. This time I am giving you this much worth of gift, and next time when you come home, you should give either equal or something better than that. This is always there. The person in the mode of passion always thinks like that only. Equal. At least equal, if not better. But not less than that. If somehow by bad fortune someone gives less, that's all. About that person, the rumors will spread in the entire relative community. The rumors will go here, there, eventually come to that person. This is what happens in society of passion. But in the mode of for goodness, a person should give charity for the well-being of others, not expecting anything in return. That is the best charity which will not bind a person. Why a person can do all these things, why a person can perform the activity in the mode of goodness and other things, etc. Only due to lack of proper understanding. So this is the last verse. We will close this. What is the proper understanding a person should have? I will come in the backward. The person in the mode of ignorance, he will have an understanding like this. Just follow the Sanskrit shloka. Adharmam dharmamiti. This person will consider adharma to be dharma. Dharmam adharmamiti. If we say that every Saturday we are supposed to go to temple, Balaji temple, or every Sunday we are supposed to go to ISKCON temple, attend morning program, attend the Bhagavad Satsang, we say, have you gone nuts or gone mad or what? Sunday is meant for outing. Adharma to be dharma, dharma to be adharma. Mannate tamasa urta. Sarvatam viparitamsha. In everything, it will think oppositely. For everything that we say from the scriptures, they will think oppositely. Whatever is mentioned in the scriptures is completely outrightly wrong. Opposite is outrightly right. That is thinking of person in the mode of ignorance. In the mode of passion, ya dharmam adharmancha karyam chakaryameva is always confused. Whether this is right or that is right. This is dharma, that is dharma. This is, I should do this, I should do that. Always in confusion. Don't know what to do and how to do. Sometimes thinking dharma to be adharma, performs adharma. Sometimes thinking dharma to be adharma, performs dharma. Without proper understanding what to do, what not to do, he does. He is always in dual mentality, confusion. Then, the best understanding is pravrittimcha nivrittimcha karya karye baya baye bandham moksham cha ya veti buddhi sa partha sattviki. The sattvic intelligence understands the difference between what is dharma, what is adharma. He knows what is dharma, what is adharma. What should be done and what should not be done. What is feared, what is not feared. What is to be feared, what is not to be feared. And the difference between what causes bondage, what causes liberation. Only a person in the mode of goodness, only a person who takes shelter of Vedic literature, or a teacher who knows Vedic literature properly, will understand what is what and lead a life in that particular direction, can only attain perfection of their life. Otherwise, either mode of goodness of lower category or mode of passion or mode of ignorance, all will take a person to repeated cycle of birth and death. This is a brief description that is there in Srimad Bhagavatam about who are the different kinds of people, what are the different kinds of understanding, what kind of activity they perform, and what will be their result. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Prabhupada ki jai, Ananta Gaudiya Vaishnava Bhakta ki jai. So these three chapters notes have been shared with all of you. So you have to add to the group. If you add to our Tuesday group, you can contact later on Prabhuji. You give your contact numbers, you will be added to the group, you will get the notes. So it's No, louder.
The journey which we have explained from Sakam Karmi to Nishkam Karmi to
Nishkama Karma Yogi.
Karma Yoga, then devotion, and then going to this getting the liberation of this Lord Gita has not mentioned the role of Guru. Because Shastra itself
indicates Guru. Yeah. Because one cannot understand Shastra on their own, one need to have Guru. That will come in the later part of our discussion. the Gorola Guru mode. Hare Krishna. Please start here.
श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे